Hey guys, how's it going? It's Baggins here, and today I wanted to share with you guys some quick tips and tricks that you can use in your New World gameplay to be able to play the game better or easier. I don't know, whatever the phrase is, but the first thing for like an example of what this video is about that I want to show you guys is the pin recipe function. Now this has been here since the release of the game, but you can see it up in the top right. I've got the recipe for stuffed calamari pinned to my like quest tracker basically, so I can see each individual ingredient that I need for it. This can be pretty handy because some recipes do have a lot of materials, and it's actually a really simple feature, but just it's kind of hidden, I guess, and people don't seem to know it exists. It's been here since the release of the game, but in any crafting station, so wherever you go, you can see spaghetti bolognese here. We have this pin recipe button, and it says keep this recipe on screen during gameplay. So we just click that, and there we go. It's now pinned over on the right, or it should be. Yeah, it pops up there. And this obviously can work with Workshop as well. So, and you can also customize the material. So let's say we want to make this with orichalcum, and we want to use quill bark, and we want to use infused leather for some reason. We can go ahead and pin that, and then it'll put those specific materials up in the top right as well. So very handy tool. You don't need to like write things down or open up a notepad to be able to remember the materials you need to craft. If it isn't popping up, just hit J on your keyboard, J for journal, Juliet, and go down to the recipes section here, and you'll see there's an auto pin off and on. So set that to yes, but you could also just leave it to no, but then just unpin it or pin it manually here as well, and then it will pop up on the screen over there with your quests. You can only have one recipe pinned at the time, but I think this is very useful and can save you, you know, some people I see them like writing down or opening up, like I say, a notepad to get this information, but it's actually just there in the game. Another quick tip I want to share with you guys that some people don't seem to know is these buttons here in the inventory. They're kind of like hidden, I guess maybe is the same with pin recipe. They're just not immediately obvious, but you can use them to sort through your inventory. Sorting by weight can be pretty handy because you can see all of the heavy chest piece sort of pop up first. All of my boots and gloves are like lined up, all of my void gauntlets because they all generally weigh the same. So it's easier to, you know, if I'm like want to find a helmet, for example, I want to swatch out my my light helmet here. All of my light helmets should show up in roughly like the same area as well in that 1.3 weight category. You can also sort by gear score, so if you have some like really high gear score armor for running mutated expeditions, or you're just leveling up and you want to put on your highest gear score stuff because it's generally just going to give you more stats, you have that option. And then finally we have sort by tier, which I think is most useful when you're looking through gems, because you got your highest tier gems, and then sometimes you do want to go to the lower tier gems for the weird sort of gem scaling, but there's another video on that topic. The next tip I want to share with you guys that revolves around in-game gameplay is the commands. So there's actually a couple of like useful commands that you guys may not know of. The first one is /stuck or /unstuck. This can be useful if you're doing a quest. Let's say I want to get this, this is like a quest item here, but I accidentally like just dodge roll a little bit too far and fall off the cliff and go all the way down, and then I'm gonna have to run back around the rock. But what we can do is just type /stuck into the chat, hit enter. Hello? There we go. For some reason didn't work the first time there. /stuck into the chat, hit enter, and this is going to sort of rewind you back in time, usually about like 10 seconds. I don't know the exact algorithm, but you can see I'm now back up here. You can only do this once every 60 seconds if I'm not mistaken. No, it's every 2 minutes actually, every 120 seconds, but can be really useful if you just make a big mistake and you fall off. This is going to be useful in chest runs. And again, I see like some people that don't know this exists, or they're, you know, not using it as an appropriate tech. So yeah, if you jump off and then you need to like recall back up, can be useful to know about the /stuck command. Another command as well, which I don't really know if it helps your gameplay, but you can do /played if you just want to get an idea of like how long you've been playing on this particular character for. /played in the chat. It does have to be in the feed though. I believe if you do it in like help and stuff, it doesn't show up. Let's just test that one here. /played. Yeah, it doesn't show up, and I'm not sure if /stuck works either. Let's just check that real quick if I can spell. Okay, /stuck does work, but not /played. So yeah, another just like general, like hidden bit of knowledge that maybe you guys don't know about in New World. Now, the final piece of knowledge I want to share is the existence of this website here. This is New World Database. Now, maybe some of you guys are going to find this a little bit like sellouty because I am sort of partnered with New World Database, but it is just an incredibly good tool for information about New World. Whether you're a new player, returning player, or a seasoned player, if you don't know about this website, you could say that you're partially at a disadvantage. Now, I recently saw a video on Reddit of this guy here who went into solo one of the arena bosses in the new Brimstone Sands region. So this is Kefri here, and Kefri is a pretty interesting boss fight because it spawns a ton of archers that also attack you at the same time. But you can see this guy is just an absolute beast when it comes to sort of self-healing and sustain, and he actually manages to take this boss fight and all those elite archers down on his own with just this Warhammer greatsword combo. Now, one of the big big reasons he was able to achieve this is because he has a perk on his Warhammer called Trenchant Recovery, and that is when you land a fully charged heavy attack, it heals you for a percentage of the damage done. And you can just see it's like giving him big chunks of health every time he lands that heavy there. So if you wanted to recreate that gameplay yourself, you would need a weapon with Trenchant Recovery on. And how would we go about doing that? Well, obviously we could look on the trading post, or we could craft it, or we could just hope to get one as a drop. But New World Database actually gives us specific information to find those weapons and find those perks. So if we go to the database section here, and then we go to perks and just search for Trenchant Recovery, we can see all of the weapons in the game that do have Trenchant Recovery on. So for example, we've got a Warhammer here with Mortal Lifesteal Trenchant Recovery. It's a named item, so it's a guaranteed drop. We'll always have these perks, and we can see which enemies in the game can drop it, and then you can also like click on them, and I believe it can show you whereabouts they are on the map as well. So yeah, farming these alligators in this region has a chance to give the Warhammer as a drop. And then we can also take a look at Ghastly Revelation, which requires level 45, but we can see that this comes from, again, a whole bunch of enemies in the same sort of region, so double value of farming those enemies. Once you get to level 60, this becomes even more useful because special like legendary named items do drop from just specific enemies. So we can see a Kiki, I never know how to say this, is one of the bosses in Tempest Heart. And this has got Trenchant Recovery Keen and Keenly Fortified, so this is going to be a pretty good sort of sustain Great Axe here as well. So as you move into the end game, finding specific tools that sort of meet the requirements of your build, New World Database is an incredibly good tool for this. Not only is this useful for drops, but it's also very useful for crafting as well. So let's say we want to make the Stalwart Heart Rune of Stoneform. This is one of my favorite heart runes in the game. We can click on the recipe, and then maybe we don't know how to get sulfur. Obviously, you can find this information sort of in the game, but it's all broken down here in New World Database as well. So we can get the crafting recipe for sulfur, and we can find that it requires sulfur chunks and flux. If we click on sulfur chunks, it'll show you whereabouts you can mine those, and then you can actually click on those things within here, and it'll show you them on the map as well. So just really tons of information that you can get from here. We've also got a server section as well. This is going to be especially useful during the fresh start servers, so you can see how many people are playing in a particular server, and maybe it'll help you make an informed decision onto which server you're going to roll a character on, which one you should join with your friends, depending on the server population and the queue time. So yeah, that's New World Database. We'll put a link to it in the description down below, but I do find it to be a very useful tool for finding information about New World. Now, there are a ton of other sort of micro managed things that you can do in New World to help make your gameplay smoother, but I thought we'll just leave it with those few like major tips there, because I think those can have like the biggest impact on your gameplay, and it's maybe not immediately obvious that those tools are available. If you guys have any other tips or tricks that you want to share with the community, drop them in the comments down below. If I see anything that's like especially useful, I'll go ahead and pin it. If you guys want to continue the discussion about New World, there's any other topics that you want to talk about, you have any questions about anything in particular, hop in on the stream. Again, we'll have links to that in the description down below, twitch.tv/BagginsTV. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. As always, if you have, make sure you go ahead, click the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.